Hello, everyone. This is Christy Whitman with the Quantum Success Show, where you can get your information and inspiration. And as you can see, I have a very, very, very special guest today. If you haven't recognized her face, this is Marianne Williamson, and she is not just a New York Times bestselling author of many books, including the classic Return to Love, but also a global presence, an internationally recognized spiritual teacher who has been helping people transform their lives for many years now, including mine. And she has officially announced her candidacy for election to the U.S. House of Representatives from California's Congressional District 33. So welcome, Marianne.
Thank you so much, Christy. I appreciate it.
I'm so happy that you're here, and I just have to say this to you. It's truly a pleasure because I came to know you about 15, 16 years ago, and I was a sales rep at the time, and I would listen to your tapes in my car, and I would hear you. And then at critical moments in my life, I would hear your voice. And like my sister had committed suicide, and I remember you saying in one of your tapes that, it's like if we have 9 tears to cry and we only cry 6 of them, it's like there's still tears that are left that need to be released. And so that I would have you in my head, and the moments that I felt like I couldn't cry, I would remember what you would say, and I would allow myself to cry. So, that's just one example. And one of the other things is that you're the deepest fear, and I'm going to put this below the video. When I first heard that, it was about 12 years ago, and that was the first time I ever gave myself permission to stop shrinking. And that's when I became an author, and literally life just completely opened up for me. And it was even a few years ago through, getting rid of a lot of the deepest fears that I had, like the inadequacies and things like that, that truly, when I came into my power, it was like that's where I realized, wow, I really do have fear with my power. So I would love for you to talk just briefly about that, because it's changed my life.
Well, first of all, my deepest condolences about your sister.
Oh, thank you.
I have lost a sister as well.
Sorry.
But to have lost a sister to suicide, I can't even imagine the trauma that would have been in your life.
Absolutely.
And I'm very sorry about that.
Thank you.
And honored to think that I played even a small part in your recovery and your moving through your grief. Of course, the whole idea of our deepest fear, it's interesting about that paragraph becoming so well known, because it's simply a paragraph in my book, Return to Love. It's not even a separate section or a special poem or anything like that. So it's quite a mystery how that one paragraph got taken out, misattributed to Nelson Mandela and all of that. But I understand, not only with that paragraph, but with so much of the book, why people are enthusiastic about it, because all of those are principles from A Course in Miracles. That book is my reflections on the principles of A Course in Miracles. And that principle, that we're more afraid of our light than our darkness, is like every other major principle in the book from the Course. If you think about it, it makes sense, because the ego mind, which is the mind that believes that we're limited and that we're nothing more than our bodies and that we are very powerless compared to all these extraordinary physical powers that surround us. That mind, which in the Course is called the ego, doesn't want us to recognize our unlimited spirits, because in the moment that we remember who we are, we also remember who we're not. So in the moment of an understanding that we are part of the light, which is God, which is the universe, which is this unlimited oceanic love, in that moment, the ego disappears. So the ego mind is marshaled against the remembrance of our greatness, because to the ego, that is death. The ego is afraid, if I realize who I am and the greatness that lives within me, not that I can take personal credit for, but it lives within me as it lives in everyone else, then that moment is a moment of ego death. So the ego mind is saying, can't go there, you'll die. Well, that's because it will die.
Right.
But that's that whole concept of you died to who you were born to the greatness of who you are. And what better week to be discussing that than Christmas?
Absolutely.
So this idea of people realizing that we play small, and sometimes through a kind of false modesty, Because it's true, sometimes you get more applause for being small than for truly being everything that you can be, because other people who are also playing small feel more comfortable if you play small. And if you truly say, I'm going to go for the next step in my own possibility, if I'm going to step it up, if I'm going to truly expand my energy into what I know is possible for my life, there will be those who will not want to applaud you, because your very presence will remind them that they could be doing it too. On the other hand, there are people who you do not know now, who once you do make that step, it's like they're on the other side of the shore waiting for you. So I think it's interesting that that paragraph has gotten so much attention, because it's clearly a universal experience that all of us are having, which is, am I willing to die to who I was, be born to who I can be?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I have a few questions for you that I'd like to ask, because one of the newest book I'm working on is The Art of Having It All, because like you, I'm all about abundance and I'm all about love instead of, fear and lack. And I know one of the reasons that you're looking to, or you are running, and I'm so excited for this because it's just so huge that your voice, your presence it will be in some form of government. Just even getting in there is just so exciting. So
we have to get me elected, but
hopefully
it will happen.
You have love behind you, and you have such a support of people whose lives you've changed. And this, is, for me, is an opportunity to give back to you for all that you've given me through the years without even knowing. And so, there are, like the government, right? There are women, successful women out right now that have written books telling other women they can't have it all. And it kills me, because it's like, how do you define having it all? And also, who are you to tell other women they can't have it all? So how do you define your it and your all, and what does that look like in your life?
Well, I think most of the time when people are writing books saying you can't have it all, I think those books are usually just saying you can't have it all right now. And that's not an illegitimate conversation. From a spiritual perspective, having and being are the same thing. You can have whatever you're willing to be. And that goes back to the whole issue of our deepest fear. If you won't energetically within yourself allow yourself an experience of unlimited possibility, just conceiving the possibility of infinite possibility for your lifetime, whatever you see as impossible because you have deemed it not okay, you will subconsciously undermine. You won't let yourself have it. So your state of being that you allow yourself will determine what you have, and it will also determine what you don't have.
Absolutely. So what core belief do you hold to be true about yourself that allows you to create the experience of you having your all?
That God wishes to use all of us, that none of us are indispensable, but that none of us in our essence are limited in any way, that we are all programmed for greatness, that every cell is programmed in the body to collaborate with every other cell to promote the healthy functioning of the whole. And you are similarly programmed to be the best that you can be. I'm programmed to be the best that I can be, so that we can collaborate and support the healthy functioning of the whole. Everything's better if you become all that you can be. Everything's better for you, and everything's better for me, because there's no limited pie here. In the spiritual world, it's not like if you have, there's less for me.
Right.
Rather, the higher vibration you're at, then the higher vibration we can play at. So you call me to my highest, I call you to your highest, and synergistically we can both go higher. Now, when you believe in a spiritual source, you believe that that programming has nothing to do with you personally. God does his part if we'll do ours. So our job is to say yes. Our job is to be willing to carry that pregnancy, to allow unlimited possibility to gestate within us. And to know that when we have said yes to that, then there's no force that can obstruct the flow and the extension of that power. And then it's just up to us whether or not we're channeling our excellence our compassion, our own potential greatness. So I see it as just as I see a cell with a natural guidance system in the body, I see each of us with a natural guidance system, and that's why we're to pray. That's why we're to meditate. That's why daily meditation. I don't know, did you get a copy of my book, A Year of Miracles?
I haven't. That's the one book of yours I don't have, so I'm definitely going to get it.
This next week. And I'm sorry they didn't send that to you. So
that's okay.
Anyway, it's daily prayers and devotions, because the more you ground yourself in spirit, the higher you can fly in the world. You know, it's counterintuitive, but the key to being powerful in the world is to know that you're not of this world. And
Absolutely.
That's how it works.
So you talked about essence, and I talk about essence too. So in one word, like, what would you describe that essence of being? How do you feel when you're
love?
Love.
I mean, the Course in Miracles says love is beyond what can be defined. You know, this course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for love is beyond what can be defined, but it does aim at removing the barriers to the awareness of love's presence. Mm-hmm. And so that's the issue. The issue is being in a space which words can't name, but you know in any situation, whether you're being generous, whether you're holding to possibility, whether you're living in the present or rather living in the past and the future, you know these things. We can feel these things.
Yes.
And in that sense, the mystery is not mysterious. There are principles to live by. You know, am I acting from my strength or from my weakness? Am I acting from my healed place or from my wounded place? Which aspect of myself am I bringing forward in this moment?
Absolutely. So what's one tip you can offer viewers to achieve the essence of that vibration?
I think that to always ask who we're not forgiving, to always ask what we're not giving in any situation, and to meditate and pray.
Those are great tips. Well, I really, Marianne, I really want to thank you for that information. And because you've literally, it's like I want to support you in every way I can, you know, because you have given me so much. And I know so many of my viewers, you've given them just by being you and your decisions every moment to show up to your greatness. And because of that, you know, and I've really been able to create a lot of abundance in my life. So my way of giving back to you as one of my spiritual teachers is for your campaign, my family and I are giving you $10,000, you know, personal money just to support you. And, you know, even though I don't live in California, you know, this is so important for everybody watching this, that even if you don't live in California, you know, give something to Marianne's cause, because this really is a cause for love. It's an important movement, and I just encourage you to donate whatever you can, because you know, I know, Marianne, you're going to make a huge difference when you're elected. And I'm not saying if you're elected, when you're elected, because this is just going to be such a huge positive change. That's not just going to be for California, but those that are in the U.S. and those that are in Canada and the other countries, because as you're starting to infuse that energy into the government, there's going to be global change because of this.
Well, that is so kind of you to say. Now, I do want to speak to your very generous point, because we have to be, of course, legally compliant.
Yes.
No individual is able to donate more than $5,200. So if you will, please get on the website, marianneforcongress.com, and read there on the donate page, because no individual can give $10,000. You know, that all that has to be obviously very legal and compliant.
Right.
I am extremely grateful for your generosity, and you know, I want people also to know if somebody can give $5, I am honored by that as well. Absolutely. And obviously you're doing wonderful work, Christy. I'm honored, like I said before, to have been even a tiny part of your journey at any moment. And I, as a woman who's lost my sister, I'm glad that you're on the other side of that, and that our sisters can wave from where they are and where I know they're happy now.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I wish you so much success. I said it's not if, it's when, because you have just the presence, the essence of love about you, and there's so many people that adore you and, you know, really are so excited that you are running for Congress. So I just want to say congratulations in advance, because I know you're going to win. So
so much. Thank you. God bless you, honey.
Thank you so much. Bye.